Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Arches. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel Noorthoek. Today is exciting. I have Erica with me, and we've also got Caesi. Caesi is a patient of ours. This will be our first of our patient interview hangout session, however you want to talk about it, however you want to say it. And more than just kind of putting Caesi in a room, we wanted to start kind of exposing patients to these type of interviews and these kind of talks and get to know them and their experience and just how they came to find us and who they are and what kind of stuff they do. About 85 or 90% of our patients in Boca come from out of state. And so we have a very unique patient base. We have a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds and wild stories and different reasons for needing to come, etc. And, Caesi is one of the more interesting ones. But you are not alone. There are many, many of them. And so we're going to probably just pepper through in the weeks to come or months to come, years to come, whatever it ends up being. We're going to do content with how this whole thing works and how a hybrid denture works and why people need their teeth replaced, etc. We're going to pepper in sort of these, we're going to call them hangout sessions, and we're just going to more or less get to know the patient and how you ended up being our patient and how your experience was. But more than that, who you are and what makes you tick.
You can call me weird. It's fine.
You're not weird. So why don't we start with the most unique part about you? Tell us the most unique part about you.
So the most unique part everybody thinks is I save snakes. I moved to Florida September 2019, Northwest Florida, the Pensacola, Destin area. And I saw a guy on the community pages, and he was saving these snakes, these cottonmouths and rattlesnakes and all these venomous snakes. And I was like just amazed. He would put, a snippet of why and the education and why we need them, why they're important. Well, he was in the Air Force, and he was getting stationed in Japan in 6 months. We became friends. He is the one who told me about the dive shop where I was 36 at the time, that I went and got my scuba license at. Tore my ACL on the day of certification. I did get my scuba certification, but I also tore my ACL, so had to wait to 9 months to get back in the water. So during that time, he was leaving to go to Japan in January 2021, and I just took over. I said, who's going to save the snakes now that you're gone? And he said, I don't have anybody. So I took over and started. I went to Jacksonville twice to the Rattlesnake Conservancy, which is also a wonderful organization. They're a nonprofit, and their tick is Save the Buzztails. And I went twice, did their level 1 and level 2.
My own personal one is run from the buzztails. Avoid the buzztails.
We are going to save the buzztails, and I'll give you a little bit of a snippet why. Okay.
Real quick, though, first, how much snake handling had you done prior to all this? Were you always a snake person, or?
No.
It sounds like this is like the beginning, and then you just took it over.
Yes, and I took it over,
okay.
And so they make you take a 6-hour class, 8-hour class, and a test on the first day. Second day is snake handling day, and when I tell you, I had more anxiety than getting my teeth done. When I heard that rattle of the rattlesnake in that box, and it was just a going, but they were all so awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And the rattlesnake's name was Cupcake, by the way. The cottonmouth they had just relocated 2 weeks prior that I worked with off of a construction site. So these were wild snakes. They weren't captive snakes that had been tamed or anything like that. They were wild. And so then I went back 3 months later, got the level 2, and then I came back. That was in May of 2021. And in June, I just started doing it and saving snakes. And the cottonmouths are the ones that have the biggest myths, that they'll chase you and they'll climb in your boat and fall out of trees just to bite you. And, they're all myths. And cottonmouths are doofy. And when they try to get away, watching them squirm to slither is hilarious. But the first eastern diamondback rattlesnake that I ever relocated, That one, it was about 4 foot long and about as thick as the end of a baseball bat or bigger. And once I got it out of the bushes, got it in the butt, struck at me twice. I had my snake boots and my hooks. But when I put it in the bucket, I was very calm with the homeowners. They had a dog barking at the door, and they were snapping pictures. And once I got that snake in my car and I sat behind my steering wheel, my hands were shaking. Like the adrenaline, I guess, had just kicked in or was wearing off. I don't know. But so that's how I started saving snakes. And then I would post on all of the Facebook groups and with education on why we need them, because one full-grown adult eastern diamondback rattlesnake can eat up to 200 rodents, rabbits, things that carry ticks. Rodents carry disease, mice, rats, and they all have ticks, on them. That if we didn't have them, our Lyme disease.
200 rodents in what timeline?
A year.
A year.
And then that's anywhere between 2,500 to 4,500 ticks that they are also consuming by eating those 200 rodents. So we would be overrun by Lyme disease. I have 2 friends with it. One friend with alpha-gal from a tick, and it is not a fun disease, neither of them to have at all. Cognitive memory loss. Sometimes they can't get out of bed, can't go to their kids' school functions. Alpha-gal, you cannot eat mammal. It's really weird. So if we didn't have, they all play a part in the ecosystem, even the venomous ones. And the question that I get asked the most is, if we have rat snakes, why do we need the venomous snakes to compensate? Because the rat snakes can't eat up to 200 rodents per year. They're very slender and skinny, where these, timber rattlesnakes and eastern diamondbacks can eat a rabbit, And so, anyway, so I started a page called Florida Snake Lady, and we have 15 or 16 admins and moderators now, and about almost 14,000 members.
Wow.
And so it has been crazy. And then
wow.
Yeah. And so then I met Alan, and that was May of 2021, and we were friends on Facebook because he was a snake guy. Alan was a snake guy. My friend Ryan had already went to Japan in January. May, I think Alan and I became friends on Facebook. I had been divorced for almost 5 years. I was told after my daughter, who I had at 18, that I could not have any more kids. And I met Alan in October of 2021, and 2 weeks later I was pregnant.
Wow.
At 37 at 37 years old. So I had him at 38. So I have a 3-year-old and a daughter who will be 23 in September. So 20
There's a few years
20
there, yeah.
years apart. Yep. And that's where my teeth really started deteriorating, was with the carrying of the second baby.
Before we get on to the teeth.
Yeah.
Been a dentist now for a while, and have always sat in a profession where people show up and they go, look, I respect what you do. I don't get it. I don't know how you do it. That's disgusting. That turns me on. It's just awful. I get that you're doing it, but I don't understand why anyone would do it. I don't get you, right? I'm sitting here listening to hear the story, and I'm thinking the same thing. And I'm like, wow, this is probably the first time I've ever sat and had a conversation with someone where I have no idea. I can appreciate the eliminating of the rodents and the ticks and the necessity of it.
We also use...
But I'm sitting here thinking, like, I respect it, but, like, I don't understand you.
We also use our native dusky pygmy rattlesnake, the tiny ones that don't get over 20 inches long, maybe 22 at their biggest. We use their venom in our medications, blood pressure, heart meds, Parkinson's, diabetes. So they're working with copperhead venom for a treatment for breast cancer. And so there's a lot of benefits to venomous snakes. And there are a lot more things in the ocean and other things that are venomous that could kill you. You get killed going and get in your car and walking. Average, okay, this is a big important thing. Average deaths in the U.S. by snake bite per year is 3.4. The reason 2 of those is because they didn't seek medical attention. 1 had an anaphylactic reaction to the antivenom, and the other was drunk and out in the woods and didn't care.
What does the population of venomous snakes? I mean, I know that there's quite a few water moccasins, but let's just say playing golf or going to a local park here. Mm-hmm. What does the population look like? I imagine that they're mostly kind of hiding away, and there's not a lot of like visibility. Mm-hmm. But like, what is the population? Do you know what the estimated population of venomous snakes in Florida is, or like what's the odds that if you go through a random forest that you'll have passed a couple or one? Like what's the
there's always,
are they everywhere,
there's
or
always,
like spiders?
Yes, we went to a nature trail. I forget when last time we came, when Alan had his done, and there was a black racer that he spotted in a tree, harmless, but there's always going to be a snake somewhere. They don't want to see you.
Yeah.
They don't want you to see them. They don't want to see you. They're going to hide. The only time that you're really going to see them is if you are playing with your kids, your dog in the backyard in the evenings. So it all starts with a food chain. You leave your porch lights on, what comes for the bugs? Frogs and lizards. What comes for the frogs and lizards? The snakes. And so it all starts with that food chain. And then if you have tarps, like that hold water that lizards get in, if you have metal wood piles in your backyard. So the cleanest you can get your yard, weed eat, don't give them shelter, don't give them food. Cottonmouths will eat dog food. I've seen a rat snake eat dog food. Don't put your pet food outside. Don't put your human food outside. That attracts the rats. We have a huge black bear population in Navarre and Gulf Breeze. Do not put out bird feeders. Bird seed attracts the rodents, it attracts the bears, and it attracts the snakes. So
let's talk a little bit about where you're from and where you live and how far you travel. What was the travel like? What was your experience down here like? Walk us from sort of the beginning, like where you're from, maybe a little bit about at what point did you decide to come find us and take the leap of faith? Did you know somebody? Did you just have a good feeling on the consult? Tell us a little bit about dentistry. I don't want to make this all about dentistry, but let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is funny. So I am a big believer, and you being a dentist can correct me if I'm wrong, that unless you have, and it may not even be genetics, but unless you have some great genetics and you are taking care of your teeth, flossing, after every meal. My dad had bad teeth. My mom, she has crowns, root canals, everything. It all has to be redone at some point, and you are spending thousands and thousands. So I am from Northwest Florida, the Pensacola, Navarre, Gulf Breeze area. I got pregnant with Gray October of 2021. During the pregnancy, my teeth, which were straight, I had braces for 3 years, he depleted everything. And I don't know if it was because I was having him older in life, but my teeth started breaking. I already had a bridge right here. It was a 3-teeth bridge. I had a 2-tooth bridge over here. This one had cracked. I could not get Polydent. I couldn't get super glue, Gorilla Glue. No, I didn't really use Gorilla Glue. Nothing. Okay, so if I talked and I said, and I was a waitress at the time, and I knew I wanted to get my real estate license, and I was like, there is no way, because the caps, they were the temporary. This was $7,500 worth of work that I had done and didn't even have crowns yet because I couldn't afford them, And so the temporary bridge cracked, and when I would say something with an S or an F, like one would fly out. And so I told my manager at work, I'm like, I need a break. I'm going to call my fiance and we are going to book a consultation, because I had been on all of these dental implant discussion pages, and I saw the horror stories that people were having when they go out of the United States. I really didn't want to go out of the United States. If you have a problem or an issue, you have to go back, because the chances are of somebody here working on something that was done, out of the States is slim to none. And Alicia, I can't say her last name, but Alicia actually posted a picture of herself on one of the dental implant discussion pages. She posted the Done in One link, and when I saw that it was in Florida, I got on y'all's page, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they are so much cheaper than everywhere I've been quoted, and they have 3 financing options, so it was just, we had paid off our cars. We worked really hard, and, my car is 10 years old, Alan's is 7, and we paid off our cars. And I said, well, this, we'll finance it. This can be my car payment. And then we sold our house and made some real estate investments, and now mine are paid off, and hopefully his will be paid off. So, but just, I tell everybody, because I had a lot of root canals. I think you only had to pull 23 of my teeth. And so out of 32.
I don't remember.
Out of 32, I think it was 23 teeth. 4 titanium rods.
That we placed 4 implants? Yes.
4 in the bottom, 4 in the top. That was what I was most scared of, because I just knew that when you started drilling for those rods, I was going to feel it. I was so anxious. I had to have the second sedative. I was awake the whole time, and I felt nothing. 2 hours, and everything was done. I was amazed.
Smooth. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
That's the
yes.
That's
And
the
y'all
saying.
were talking the whole time, and that just puts you at ease, because a lot of people will fall asleep. I wasn't one of those. I was awake.
The myth is that everyone should be asleep for this, and I feel very strongly the opposite way. When you're on my team and I'm on yours, the ability for me to get the job done correctly, it doesn't even compare. So this morning I had a patient who was way too sedated for what I want, and still safe, but she was totally out of it. Well, with me having to physically command everything out of her, her surgery compared to yours, 12 times different experience. Now, will she remember it, and will it change anything? Not really, but in terms of my psyche and my lifestyle and my satisfaction with the results, I'm much happier when that patient is present enough to be a participant.
Because we work better with you.
Yeah, participant, and people hear that and they go, oh my goodness, I'm so scared. I get that it's a scary thing. It's participant, not victim.
Right.
We're not putting you through anything. I tell everybody in the very beginning of the surgery, I'm here on your team. If you need anything, that's the reason why I don't have you totally knocked out. I want you to tell me so we can fix it and work through it together. And with you assisting me, I can get it done less traumatically, much smoother, much easier, and get better results in that 2 hours. And what's great is as the cases have built up in terms of numbers, luckily we're sort of changing the tides that you don't have to be put fully to sleep. And not that we have a problem convincing people. And if you are totally IV sedation heavy and you can't even imagine that, that's fine. I probably don't want you as a patient. But we're kind of changing the tides. It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody comes out of the surgery and goes, well.
Look, because of all the dental horror that I had been through, the abscesses, the pain, I was anxiety ridden probably more than anyone, and I wanted to be asleep. After I took the second sedative, I thought that I was going to, but I think I was just so like, oh my gosh. And I do have a question for you, and this is a question that I get asked a lot when I'm asked about my
Hope I know the answer.
Well, you do. Okay. So, because I've asked you, and I just couldn't remember your answer. I have a friend in Auburn who went and had his dental implants done in Auburn. A lot of these other places are doing temporaries for 6 months. And I tell them I'm so grateful that I did not have to wear a plastic pair of temporary teeth for 6 months, because they weren't comfortable. They weren't that, not like these. When you get your final zirconia on that, 5th day, 6th day, 9th day, whatever, they're totally different than your temporaries. Why? Most people are asking me, how come you do it all in one and you leave with your teeth on that last day instead of doing the temporaries for 6 months?
Why do we go to a final? Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty deep question, but we'll digest it real quick.
Okay.
There's several big reasons. Number one, in terms of the timeline of how we ended up getting into it, I'll go kind of in that order. Number one was before, when we would do it the old way, one, you're spending a lot of money on making the temporaries for a subpar result that could potentially break apart or fall apart because it's just plastic and glued together. And that puts the implants at extreme risk. When you lose, even if you have 6 and you lose and you break your temporary, I have a lot of money into it and a lot of time personally making it, and you don't even like it that much. Mm-hmm. But then when you break it, if and when, I mean, it's like probably 30% of the time we'd have to go back in and kind of clean them up and glue them. The chance of that implant failing is very high, okay? And so not only that, when you get to the end, if your implants have healed well, you then have that set of visits to make the finished product, right? Doing it the old way. That set of visits comes with a lot of, you're now bringing your baggage of the trauma of all the time and the breakage and the not loving your teeth yet. Mm-hmm. So now you go, all right, it's my time. I'm going to get exactly what you want. And that's a time where you and the dentist are sort of a little bit butting heads. Mm-hmm. You know, you could like them to the end of the earth, but you're kind of at odds. You want this perfect and this person's kind of worn out, right? And so it adds a lot of trauma. And I always describe it as the dark cloud in the office. So you've got this dark cloud in the office. And so you have the happy people that are your patients that are getting worked on. And then you have a full waiting room of people that are kind of getting, going through their getting their temporaries fixed, and they're kind of okay. And then you have a whole nother group of people that are trying to get finished. And you have this, basically it's just a big line of people waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's stressful on the dentist, etc.
Exactly.
So that was an initial motivation to going to a finished product. Mm-hmm. That was my business partner's initial motivation. And I will never forget, it was in mid-April of 2016, 2015, somewhere in there. We did our first case. I thought, oh my God, I am going to get shoved out of dentistry. This is the last case I'm going to end up getting touched. People are going to find out I did this, and I approved it. And this is my last time in dentistry. Like, so long, farewell, right? Yeah. This is crazy. And where I got sold was not when we first did it, because I didn't really see the patient other than for post-op. The next week when I came in for post-op, the healing that I saw, I didn't realize that this patient, because I was getting bounced between rooms. And Nadia, did you ever work with Nadia?
Oh, yeah.
So Nadia was my original surgical assistant. Nadia pulls me in a room. I give this lady all kinds of instructions, like, great, you can eat whatever you want now and all of this. And she follows me down the hall and she goes, Doc, did you use like a special implant in there or something? And I said, no, what are you talking about? She said, that was your surgery patient from last week. You just told her she can eat whatever she wants, etc. So I had her call him back. Like, we had to pull her out of the parking lot, brought her back in. I think it was a she, brought this patient back in. And I just have to look at this. And the healing was so good underneath the final product that I had been bamboozled that I didn't even think I did surgery last week. That's how good the healing is. Because the finish on the real finished set is so amenable to reducing the amount of bacteria that can get stuck there, reducing the inflammation, improving our own contours, right? This could be a 3-hour podcast on its own.
Yeah.
But you know, I always liken it to, if you're doing the underside, if you look at the underside of a denture that's a temporary, and you look at ours, it's a lot like the difference between duct taping a 2x4 to your broken arm versus putting a cast on it, right? The chance that you're going to need surgery on a 2x4.
That sounds like something Alan would do.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't be shocked in 3 months when his guy said, well, your arm's still messed up, we need to do surgery, right? That's why people that do temporary say, well, you can't do that. The gum tissue changes too much, because all they're doing is duct taping a 2x4 to the arm.
Right.
And then, no surprise, you have to fix it. If you put a cast in the very beginning, does it happen where you need surgery afterwards? Sure, in random cases, but the majority have been treated correctly, and we were the ones that put the rules and regulations. So that's the sort of gum tissue part on it.
Yes.
The other part is that when the reason why temporaries are still a big thing is because regardless of expensive or cheap or however you're going to do the temporary, the final teeth are still a pretty big expense. They still require a lot of work to get to the end, even if you have all the equipment, right?
Right.
And so if you're not doing this at volume, if you're not doing this full time, if this isn't your means and your living and your, if this isn't your passion for life, this isn't all you do, then, and you have an implant that goes bad during that healing phase when you just paid for that all expense, since you don't own the process and you don't own the stuff, it's more than just the cost of the teeth to do. And so now you're looking at your margins are getting screwed up because you had one fail underneath a final. So once you get to volume, let's call it 30 arches in a month. Now I have efficient costs where the chances of your implant going bad are low enough that they are better. My results are going to be better. My everything's going to be better. And so the chance that you have one that fails and I have to replace it and put a new final on still comes out. I still come out miles ahead because I have efficiency in volume and I have efficiency in that material. So your healing is going to be better. Your experience is going to be better. Your gum tissue is going to be better. But I also don't have to hold anything against you. I don't have to hold any grudges if you have one go bad and I have to replace it.
Right.
So it's like it's kind of all of that wrapped together. I know that was like way more than...
No, and I just wanted to ask the question and you give the answer, because when people talk to me about this, I've referred, I think, 4 or 5 people, and, 3 or 4 of them have come and got their teeth done. And so people really want this. And a lot of the times I get the question, why did they do it? How can he do it in such a short time when other people are having to wait? So that answers that.
It truly comes down to cost and efficiency. So like we've kind of constantly said on this podcast, it works the old way. It's fine. The chance that I'm going to get that type of patient in that type of operation to sit and hang out with me, which, we now have thousands of patients that would, very similar to you, right? And they come from all different walks.
Right.
The chance that we would come out of this like this, I won't say 0, but it's a lot less. Right? And that is the most rewarding part about what we've brought to the table in terms of refining this process is we can all feel good about what we're offering to you. We can all feel good about the price. But on top of it, the chance that we're going to come out also feeling good with a warm, fuzzy friend, reliable, you're referring people.
Exactly.
That's the most rewarding part. That's why we sit here today.
Yes.
I don't have to do this podcast. I could be at home messing around in my garage doing woodworking or something.
Playing with your dogs.
But it's rewarding to me to feel like we can offer you to come on here and we can talk about snakes and all that stuff. But it's awesome to have the relationships that we do with the patients. And that really only comes from sort of just putting all these pieces together. It's not done in one only that can do that. It's just,
but I have never
we've kind of assembled it.
Better medical care from your staff, Lilia, Erica, Carly, Nadia, Val. I don't have Dr. Lax. There's not one complaint of any of them. Everybody makes you feel so welcome, and it's just great. And that's why we are sitting here, and I was willing to do this because I want to refer as many people as possible. Having bad teeth is so embarrassing to some people, and they don't want to smile with their mouth open. I had perfect teeth before, and when they just started falling apart, the cavities started coming, and then the abscess, and then the pain, and then, it is so embarrassing to have been able to smile, and people tell me all through my high school years, you've got such a beautiful smile, and then for them just, from the age of 28 to 36, just start deteriorating. And so a lot of people are quiet and they won't speak up. And, I'll post anonymously on a lot of groups, or not anonymously, and say, hey, you can reach out to me and I will never, ever, but I have someone that you need to talk to. And just his 1 hour consultation, he looked at me and was like, I don't even need to do x-rays. I can tell you right now, but of course he did x-rays, but I'm just saying, he was just made me feel so comfortable.
That's the other cheat of being a full arch hybrid dentist is at first glance, if you're a dentist listening to this, you're going to go, oh, well, you have to do a full comprehensive exam. And the truth is that when you become part of this niche, I'm not saying I can do the case. I didn't say I could do the case on you regardless of how many teeth were really bad or not.
Right.
We all have eyes. And for the most part, the patient self-selects. You knew that you were in a scenario where you had to have all the teeth taken out.
Right.
And even if I was to convince you that you had 2 that were worth saving, I wasn't going to convince you because you had already made up your mind. By the time you get to me, you kind of already know where you stand. And I can see just visually on Zoom whether or not I'm going to have enough bone. I know that sounds crazy, but I've done 6,000 arches. I can see it.
Right.
And so it's this, what I get out of that is 1, you feel the confidence, but 2, you didn't have to feel judged at all. One of the biggest things that has been fun to sort of eliminate is when we do a consult, we do our serious stuff just before surgery and in that little workup there before.
Right.
But I don't have to poke you. I don't have to make you sit and feel exposed and vulnerable and scared at that particular time when we're talking about something so personal, right?
Right.
I don't look at you and think about you as a person without teeth. You have teeth. You paid for them, right? Like
they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Some patients, they always say, I have a lot of people that ask me if those are my own teeth, and they're like, yeah, they're my own teeth. I paid for them.
Look, that's exactly what I tell people, especially when I worked in the restaurant. They're like, they'll just be looking, and then I'll go back and I would take their food, and now I do real estate full time, so I don't do that. And they're like, you just got the most beautiful teeth. And I'm like, thanks. They're not mine. Well, yeah, they are. I paid for them.
Yeah.
But that's the cheat of what we do in Full Arch is you kind of already came to us with a pretty well diagnosed situation. And so I never had to put you into a scenario where you felt I was judging you or the staff felt you were judging you or smack you with a price that you didn't expect. Maybe some people go into an office that does kind of everything and they may come in thinking that they need a cleaning and then they leave with like a $70,000 treatment plan. That's a hard sell.
That's what I mean. Just the teeth I'd already had the work done on, I had spent $20,000.
Right.
And those teeth were always going to have work done eventually. They were never going to stay. Either they pulled it and I didn't have a tooth, or a crown's going to crack later on, and that's another $2,000, $2,500, or one implant is $4,000 for one tooth. No, I mean, this is it's just beyond next level. And
the ability to lose, to create, the ability to create a judgment-free zone. I don't care how many teeth you come in with and what the story is behind them. Honestly, we get a lot of people that come in and they want to tell, well, this root canal was done in 94 and then this one, and I know you probably want to know this. And no. They're all bad. They need to come out.
I don't like, get these things out.
I really don't care. I care, but I don't care from like I'm not judging you. I'm not looking. I don't care. Once we get these teeth and you're a person that has teeth, it's not a huge thing. And being able to operate from that judgment-free zone is very, very freeing. It's one of the coolest part about this little niche of dentistry is we never have to put a patient into this. I mean, do we ever have anybody in the consults? Once every 6 months or so, you have somebody that cries out of like shame or feeling bad, but it's always on them. We never feel like we have to push that on them.
It's more vulnerability than shame, I think, too, or embarrassment. It's just a very vulnerable position to be in.
It really is. And that's why I always tell people, they see this every day. I promise you, they have seen somebody that has a worse mouth than you do. Trust me.
And we don't rank it like that. We don't. No. I literally do not care.
Right.
So Erica, you know Caesi a little bit better than I do. So do you have any like questions or anything that you wanted to go through, or anything that you find unique about her that you want to bring out in this conversation? Like, what's your favorite candy? What's your favorite food now that you have teeth?
Well, I could eat French fries without teeth. So now my
What's your favorite French fry? What's your favorite fast food French fry?
Hooters curly fries.
Okay. All right. You like the skin.
I love
like
the
it
seasoning
doesn't
that
have
they
the
put on
it doesn't have the skin on it.
Season.
The curly fries. No, I'm thinking of Arby's.
Yeah, I like those too. French fries has always been a favorite food of mine, but
Do you like Chick-fil-A?
hot wings? I do love Chick-fil-A. Hot wings, big thing, and I was always a potato lover. So when you said soft food diet for 90 days, I was like, I got this.
So I have a potato story real quick. So I like to cook. I cook a good amount, but most of it's kind of like barbecue, and I do Thanksgiving pretty much every year. So I'll get into sides and whatever. So on Memorial Day, my wife was begging me like, "What are we gonna bring? What are we gonna bring?" I said, "Don't worry about it. You go." She rides horses. I was like, "You go ride. I'll figure it out, and then we'll just bring whatever I figure out." So I go to the grocery store and I'm passing by the potatoes and I go, "I've never made potato wedges. I can figure that out." So I bought all the stuff. And I'm like, how hard can it be? I'm pretty good at cooking. So I didn't look up anything. Okay. And I struggle with those things like you've never seen somebody struggle cooking.
Instructions.
Okay? I didn't look up any instructions. So I show up and I'm making this huge deal to like the family that we hang out with all the time. Like they're from Pensacola actually.
Nice.
And so, just kind of very similar to you, but they cook and they bake. And so I'm sitting there like just complaining to them like, man, they're so hard. And they're like, really? The potato skins are pretty easy. Like you're decent at cooking. Like what's wrong with you? Dude, I didn't look up any instructions. I boiled the potatoes like a moron. Literally,
no.
I boiled the potatoes and was trying to peel the inside out of the boiled skin. Successfully, I might add, I did it.
Did you?
But it took me forever. So
I do mine.
you put them in microwave or bake them.
You can
do
bake
not
them,
boil.
but I have never had an oven that can do like they're in there forever. So I just put them in the microwave. My grandmother does twice baked potatoes when
yum.
she was alive. Oh my gosh. Put them things in the microwave, get them soft, cut them in half long ways, scrape it all out into a bowl.
Yep.
And then mix it with the cheese, butter, sour cream, chives, bacon, put them in there, and then put you some more chives and bacon on top of that. Oh my gosh, just so good. But potatoes is probably my favorite food.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That I need to lay off of, and bread.
Did you have anything that you used reliably? What was your like go-to kind of like, let's break it into 3 phases. Did you have a go-to in the first month, second month, third month, or was it just sort of the same thing, or you varied it up quite a bit? Hamburger. Yep.
Hamburger meat, anything. So I probably did a soft food diet for 6 months because I didn't have any pain. I was back at work the second week, and I was here for.
You were hunting for snakes like the second day.
Yeah, we
right?
were.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the day I got the first. So you go back the first night with nothing, so that the blood can clot and everything can heal.
Yep.
The second day you get your first set of temps.
Message received.
Yes. Second day you get your first set of temps. We went on a nature hike, and I caught a nightingale. Alan did. Alan caught it, and he was like, I was like, is it going to bite? Because they're beautiful. And he was like, well, I mean, it will, but it's not going to hurt. It hurt worse than the teeth being put in.
Oh, my
And he
gosh.
wou't let go. I have a picture.
It bit you?
Yes, and it's just hanging on. This was like the first day of my temps.
Alan.
Yeah, I know. Alan, he's crazy. He really needs to be on the pod. One day he will be on the podcast.
Maybe after we've done like 15 patients.
Because he's so crazy.
We might have to do like an on location.
Oh,
I'll stay in the car.
go down to the Everglades.
Yeah.
Well, Alan actually
That would
had
be
his
funny.
procedure done after you. He came about, 2 years after you?
Yes,
He
mine
had
was
his surgery done. And you guys definitely went snake hunting that night. I know that.
Yes, and we were also, so Alan is one of those, he is not going to go to the doctor unless he'll be shoving some garlic.
Wait, time out.
up in there.
I've been missing out on the timeline. My memory is not amazing when it comes to this.
I got my teeth done August of 2023.
Okay.
Alan,
in my head, you and Alan were like the same week.
he got his done back in November 2024.
Running the stories together. Okay.
And then that's when that first night he went home with no teeth, and there was this big mirror in our Airbnb, and he did I said, do not tag me in that Facebook post. I will kill you. And because he has no teeth, and he says, this is what happens when you do meth, kids.
It is. I remember that.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
And but his teeth look great, and he's the one that had the big infection right here, and so you had to do the bone graft or whatever. And his teeth have been wonderful, and he loves them. You're always gonna feel like there's something. I don't remember what my old teeth felt like. I really don't. These.
Yeah, I think let's talk about that for a second. So tell us because you do develop a feedback, correct? I don't have them, so I don't really know other than what people tell me. So like, what was your experience like? It's not the same. It'll never be the same. It's not your teeth.
Right.
But do you get a sensation back? Did you get a sensation back? Because I get some people that come back the week after and they're like, oh, they feel like my normal teeth.
Yeah.
And then some people 2 years later, they go, well, these still feel foreign. I get it, but they still feel foreign. Like, where do you, sounds like you follow somewhere in the middle.
I think I'm in the middle because I definitely know that I keep forgetting to talk close to this thing. I definitely know that they're not my real teeth, but I also can't remember what my real teeth felt like because I had so much pain all the time too. So I'm glad. I mean, I probably gained 20 pounds because of these, but whatever. Yeah. But it's the healing process. It is such an invasive surgery, and you think, oh my gosh, it is going to take weeks and weeks. Like, second week I was back at work. We were on a nature trail the next day, and that's Alan and Gray right there. They're going into that studio. But anyway, I think ice. My soft food diet, I went for 6 months, and I did a lot of stuff I don't normally eat. I did desserts.
There's a lot of desserts that fall in the soft category.
Potatoes, which I always eat. I ate a lot of potatoes.
Absolutely.
So this is how I got around chicken tenders, y'all. If you do fried chicken tenders, okay, they're a little hard to cut with a plastic fork. But if you get your favorite teriyaki sauce, or at Peg Legs, we have what's called tiger sauce.
Peg Legs.
Peg Legs.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I have a shirt.
I worked there for 2 years.
The mudslide, right?
While doing.
What's the drink there?
We didn't do the mudslide. Well, maybe
I'm pretty sure I had a mudslide at Peg Legs.
Bushwhacker.
Bushwhacker. That's what it is. Sorry.
So
it's been a few years. It's probably been 3 years since I've been to Pensacola.
I was there for 2 years, my last year in real estate, or this past year in real estate. I just left there in March, actually. But anyway, what was I saying before the...
Your soft food diet?
Tenders.
Yeah, so I would get them to make me chicken tenders, and we have what's called tiger sauce, and it's like a sweet and spicy, and I would put the tenders in the box and get like a big 5 ounce and pour the tiger sauce, and I would shake the box up, let them sit for a little bit so that the crust gets soft, and then I would just cut them and dip them in ranch and eat them very slowly.
Like people, a lot of people, they hear like the soft diet and they think just like baby food. It's not. There's pretty much anything you can eat. It's just the responsibility of like, are you using a lot of force? Are you going a lot of side to side? If you're not, fine. People cook in different ways.
Pulling on bread. Bread I avoided. I love salads, but I did avoid salads.
That's one of the biggest ones.
Huge.
Yes, I did avoid salads, but that was the first thing that I had. After about 4 months, I did have a salad. But the breads, especially, like, we're big Jersey Mike lovers, because the bread is so thick and the pulling,
they soak it in so much of their sauce. I'm sure it's kind of okay.
Well, I love their sauce.
I don't.
You don't?
I'm not. There's two kinds of people in life: people that are Jersey Mikes and people that are not. Right?
People that save snakes and people that run from snakes.
That's exactly. There you go. Tell us about how long did it take for you to get used to your speech? F's, S's, T's. Did you ever have a problem?
No, I think maybe.
I don't think so.
I really think after the first, I did hit my teeth with a fork a couple of times trying to put food in my mouth.
Yeah, that's
because you didn't know where they were.
It takes a little bit, but and I'm not a singer. I have a horrible voice, so a lot of people say sing, get in the car, get in the shower, sing, and I'm like, I don't even want to hear myself sing. But no, I didn't have any. There are people that have, but lisp problems, I didn't have any. Maybe my Southern Alabama accent already.
That would more or less bring it a little bit out.
Really?
What's weird is that used to be a big thing that you would head off in the consults. It was a big thing that you would get. I'll say I used to get anxious about it. Mostly when we were doing it more the old way.
Right.
And if you looked at sort of the old design versus
I did
now,
have more trouble with the plastic teeth talking than I did.
Yeah, there's something there that I don't know scientifically what it is. But once we've it kind of just disappeared. You know, you'd think like it is very rarely ever an issue anymore. Used to be every single case that you would have to fight it. You get it back. But now with like the advent of the digital and the zirconia, not intentional. Most of everything we do is like intentional and we have a reason.
Right.
That's just something that kind of has disappeared. So that I always try to like ask that question because it's weird for me to not have that as an issue. And it always it's kind of like I have to pinch myself like it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's the weirdest thing. It just kind of disappeared overnight with once you kind of switch to digital and zirconia, like over time. It's not anything reasonably, if you think through it, it shouldn't have gone away. Should still be there because you're trying to relearn where those things are. But for whatever reason, just in the process that is used now,
I think a lot of people think that this layer here is going to cover the whole roof of your mouth because more of the temporaries that you're trying on that first week do. But then when you get those zirconia finals,
in the like upper palate area,
yes,
kind of.
It's so much smaller, and so it's really no big deal. So that could be one of the issues with the talking too, and just the teeth. You can feel that they're not.
That's
Yeah.
the palate and the design of the teeth and the way that they feel against your tongue is another little weird shocker. We used to think when we started with digital, we said, you know what? We can design fully anatomic, get the tooth back so the person doesn't even know that they're missing their tooth, right? We design them, we put them in, constant problems. This hurts, this doesn't feel natural. As soon as we started smoothing it over and making it feel less natural,
Right.
logically,
Right.
is when all those things changed. It's almost like, for whatever reason, when you lose the teeth and when you get that in, it's almost like the smoother the better on the backside. No anatomy, just kind of almost denture feeling in a way, which is what you feel like you're trying to get away from.
Yes.
But that's another one of those like intangibles that was not what we expected it to be.
And that's why I tell people when they ask me about dentures, why wouldn't I do dentures instead of these? I was like, firstly, I'm 39 years old, and I have a friend, and she has dentures, and every couple of years she has to go back and get them resized, and they're cutting into her gums, and she's just bleeding and in pain all the time. And I'm like, why wouldn't you do a permanent solution with a lifetime warranty that is going to, like, I'm never going to have tooth pain again. And if I do, he's got me. Like, it's okay.
We got you.
Fix it up.
And no other cavities. You know, the cavities was the biggest things because they'll turn to abscesses like that. And if you don't take care of them and get them, because like if you have them in the back and you can't see them, you know, and that's what was happening with mine. And then they finally started coming through. But yeah, so I am a Done-in-One fan for life.
So as a frequent flyer of Boca visits now.
Oh, we're moving to Boca. And we'll
Hey, don't have to tell everybody
here
that.
in 2 years.
So a real fan of Boca. What's your favorite like home away from home spot now? being that you've been here for a while? Like, if somebody's going to travel here and they're going to be, they're coming up on their visit and they kind of want something to do, let's say it's the week of their surgery or their significant other's surgery, like, what was your favorite thing to do out, if anything? Maybe it was just rest in the hotel, but what's your favorite shining part of Boca? Like, what's your tourist guide?
Do you really want to know? Okay.
Of course. Yes. I did ask the question.
When we were here, when we were here in August getting my teeth done, that's the hottest month in Northwest Florida. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know there's humidity here, and I know that it doesn't get as cool at night here. But because you're on the peninsula and you're getting the breezes both ways, it was 10 degrees cooler here every single day in August than it was.
Sure. You're not as landlocked and you get the breeze.
Exactly.
And,
98 up there, 88 down here every day. And then the nature trails, the parks, the strangler figs, the flamboyant, the poinciana trees with the big red blooms. Mm-hmm. It's the jungly feeling down here. It feels like you're in the jungle.
Tropical.
Yes, tropical. Mm-hmm. And we still get hard freezes up where we're at because it gets into the 30s and 20s, and we just had 10 inches of snow.
Crazy.
It was nuts.
Yeah, we have a lot of people think of Boca and they think somewhere in between West Palm and Fort Lauderdale, a lot of traffic, a lot of like uppity people, a lot of just concrete jungle. But we actually have, we're still next to the Everglades. We still have we have the Japanese gardens off of Yamato.
There's plenty of nature
we've got the turtle refuge. We've got a bunch of parks. Yeah. Like there's stuff to do outside.
Yeah, no, and we stayed actually this time in Lake Worth Beach, and it was really cute too. And there are all kinds of places that down here that will take you snorkeling with sea turtles, and you still get to do everything. You may not have the white sand beaches and the Emerald Coast waters, but
But we got waves and depth and fishing and
it's got character.
Yes, the fishing. Y'all have the best charter fishing.
Yeah.
It's a great time in the world. I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
No.
But, oh my gosh. He got in big trouble. But I just love it. I love the junk. Alan is a big plant guy, and we have mangoes and avocados and starfruit and guava, blood orange, everything there that you can't put in the ground. So we have these huge trees in pots that he has to bring in the shed every single winter. So the thing about it here is it's not that it's any hotter. It's actually cooler during the day. It's just during the winter it doesn't get as cold at night. And so you can have the mangoes. And, this is just his I
don't know if it's still true, but I took a class for bite, like how the bite comes together. There's like an institute that works with that in Key Biscayne down in Miami. Mm-hmm. And their claim to fame, again, I don't know how true it is, and I don't know if it's still true, but their claim was that that Key Biscayne has never gotten north of 98 degrees ever. That has never broken over 98 degrees because of the wind and where it is. And so it's a little bit not what you would expect.
And over here, because we drove over in November when we came for Allen's to Naples.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And also Naples, Sarasota, Cape Coral, they get the hurricanes. Over here, you're a little bit more safer from the hurricanes. Not that you're not going to ever get, hit or tornadoes coming off or whatever, but you are safer over here on the west side than you are, or the east side than you are on the west side as far as that goes. Now, you get a 500 square foot concrete block house for $500,000, but that's okay. We're going to do it.
Don't knock on our real estate. There's only so much of it.
I have to knock on it. I love it. I love it. It's just finding a lot that is at least like 0.3
Yeah.
That's a lot down here.
Yeah.
And we have a half-acre lot where we're at, and we just moved from 2.75 acres and a lake. So that's going to be a little bit different. People will honk at you if you stay at a red light up 0.0001 seconds longer than when it turns.
Yes, before it turns green.
And it offended me the first time that I ever came down here. And Alan's like, baby, you got to go. Like, it's crowded down here, but they get places. They get places. And so now I just laugh when people honk. And
yeah. Erica, Caesi, any like final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, likes, subscribes? You want to plug any? So the snake lady.
Oh, well, Florida Snake Lady page. So you look it up on Facebook, and it's just Florida Snake Lady. Now I do have a Caesi Williamson Florida Snake Lady realtor page that people get confused about. So I think I'm going to go try to change the name of that one. But
if you have to take a snake out of a home, you get the listing automatically, and you get a 10% discount if you want to acquire it, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. But Florida Snake Lady.
Florida Snake Lady.
Awesome.
Yes, done in one. He's in Tampa, Boca, now Jacksonville.
Potentially. We'll see.
We're going to try to get him to, which I don't really care if you go to Destin now or not, because we're moving down here.
Well, we'll be there at some point. Yeah,
well,
that's.
Who are you going to get to sell your real estate down there?
well, you'll be here.
Well,
you'll know.
That's okay. There's planes. I'll fly. Yeah.
But yeah, so we really appreciate you taking out the time and coming to kind of tell us about who you are and what your experience was like. And it's always pretty easy to get little fun details out rather than just kind of
yes. And when you feel so good about a place and people, just like my mom, she's wanting to get it done. She's 67 and she's so scared, and I'm like, I would never, ever tell you or refer you to anybody, and they have given me, out of any healthcare facility, dental facility, anywhere, the best care, ever. The first time when I came to have my teeth done, and Alan was waiting on that biopsy for that spot on the top of his mouth, and we had been waiting a month, y'all referred him for a biopsy across the hall. And
I remember that now.
That y'all were just awesome. I mean, nobody else has ever even taken the care to do that. So
when that got read, did you ever get the bill? When it gets read? I've asked this for 15 years now.
When what got read?
His biopsy.
Oh, so we ended up getting a call from the referral we were waiting on, so we didn't end up going across the hall.
But still, you had a section taken, and it got sent to pathology. Mm-hmm. And when pathology read it and sent it back to you, did you get a bill from pathology? I'm sorry, listeners. This is I'm trying to get to the bottom of a 15-year question.
Can you grab Alan?
Did you get a bill from pathology?
I don't know. Alan would know.
Nobody knows.
He's right there next door.
I've never found out how much it costs because there's a fee. Let's say I don't charge anything to take the biopsy and put it in a bottle and throw it in the mail to them, right? Uh-huh. Typically, if you come out of nowhere, there's a fee. Let's say you're a patient of mine, generally not a fee. I'm just trying to check up on you. Uh-huh. Never in my whole history of being a dentist have I ever found out what the other fee is to read it. Because there's the taking the biopsy, which would be my fee, but then the other fee for reading what is actually in there when it goes to pathology lab, say at University of Florida. When it comes back, I have never gotten a follow-up on how much that part costs.
When you, can he sit with me?
Sure.
He's the reason I have these teeth right now.
Maybe they use it for research.
Gray, come here. Alan, when you went back home and they ended up doing the biopsy on the spot on the top of your mouth, did you get a bill from pathology?
Yeah, see, I don't know. It might just be medicine.
Come here, bud.
Who we got here?
This is Gray.
Hi, Gray. Hi, buddy. Yeah, come over, say hi to Mom.
You want to come say, hey, look, you want to see? Come here. Come here. You can see he's going to go to Erica.
Hi.
He's going to walk. You be careful because there's a lot of.
Yeah, that's your mama.
And you wanted to ask about hygiene for Gray.
A little bit, yeah. So
and this is actually a good question because Alan is a big no fluoride for Gray right now.
Okay.
Is that okay or no?
You don't want it systemic,
Because
more or less. You want to limit.
Know how to spit it out yet.
Yeah. Topical, I believe topical is going to be the best, something like that.
That his doctor could.
Yeah. You don't want to overserve it when the teeth are forming, but like in a systemic way. So people that have like the big white spots on their teeth, generally that will kind of come because we'll say that they grew up in Tennessee or something and their water had a lot of mineral content in it. Mm-hmm. Typically that will be they'll have too much in the formation of the tooth, and too much of the formation can be a problem. Fluoride is important because it makes the tooth structure stronger by replacing what's naturally there. Kind of does a little switcheroo. So all of that being topical is important throughout life.
Right.
But you don't want to, ingest it too much.
Okay. Yeah. For sure.
So.
All right.
But we appreciate your time, Caesi. Thank you for taking the time out of snake hunting and house hunting and all of that. And
hey, we're gonna be down here. You put I've got business cards. I'm gonna give Erica some before we leave.
Awesome.
Y'all can put them up in the office.
We will. Appreciate it.
We will be down here.
I know the first people I'll call if I ever have a problem. But so thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe. Thanks, Erica, for coming on with us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, take the chance. It's worth it. You
Worth
won't regret it.
Thank you.